In this video, we're gonna be checking out Will's 2020 Civic Type R. Let's get into it.
Seven hours driving on the highway, far away, far away, far away. Every moment I was spending on regrets was such a waste, such a waste, such a waste. Looking on the city lights, flashing bright in my eyes. Look up to the sky and I got this relief inside. Then there's no need to hide. Going all the way up. Let it go in my heart. Everything that holds me down.
My name is Nikolai. I like to film and build cool cars. If you're new here, consider subscribing and hitting the bell icon so you stay up to date. We're gonna learn a whole lot about cars and see some pretty cool stuff. Let's jump into the video. What's up guys? So I'm here with Will and this is his 2020 Honda Civic Type R. It's a really beautiful car, but Will, go ahead and tell us everything about the car.
Will do. Hi, I'm Will. This is my 2020 Civic Type R on beautiful Boost Blue. I love this color. I fell in love with it.
It's really a beautiful car. I think Boost Blue is the best color you can get for a Type R. It pops, it looks good, it really fits the car. Now, Will, tell us, what mods have you done to this car?
So pretty much every bolt-on available to the Civic Type R. Intake, inlet pipe, downpipe, intercooler, fuel system upgrade with fuel injectors and fuel pumps. Upgraded turbo, that's about it.
So which turbo are you running on here?
It's a RS 550. It's from Rampage Fabrications. It's the same housing as a stock turbo with upgraded bigger wheels. So hopefully, I haven't dynoed yet, but it'll be around 500 horsepower around.
500, so 500 horsepower in a Honda Civic. That is so cool. Now granted, this is the Type R, so obviously it's not really like your EX Civic, you know, sedan, because it's kind of cool because, you know, look at all the Honda Civics in the lineup. You got your, you know, base model, and then you also have the SI, and now here's the Type R. And it's cool how all of these Civics are totally different because the SI is, you know, the sport version of like the regular one, and the Type R is just a whole new category. I would almost say it's like its own category because Type R being a front wheel drive car, it's quite interesting how, you know, you're making 500 horsepower and the car is able to put that to the ground, and it's also able to corner well, it's able to go in a straight line very well. Everything's just really good about the car, and it's really nice. So, you know, tell us, you know, making 500 horsepower, how does the car handle everything? You know, does it feel like it's too much, you know, being front wheel drive? Does it feel like it's, you know, a good amount of power? Just kind of tell us everything about that.
No, it feels pretty balanced. We swapped from the 20-inch factory wheel to an 18-inch with meteor tires. So it does help with the wheel spin. This Potenza's RE71R, they work flawlessly with the setup. No torque steer that I've noticed yet.
I do definitely think the 18s on this car look much better because those 20s from the factory, I mean, the actual wheel design is pretty cool, but it just looks like you have rubber bands around the around the wheel. Like, I don't know. I mean, personally, if I own a Type R, I would probably do this exact setup because I really love what you've done with the car. You've done a really good job building this car, dude. You've got an OEM Plus build, but it's got the power to back it up. It looks beautiful. I mean, seriously, the Boost Blue color on the white Advan wheels. Now, since we're still talking about like wheels and tires, what are your actual wheel and tire specs on the car?
So it's a staggered setup, 18 by 10.5 in the front, 18 by 9.5 in the rear.
Nice, nice. So being staggered with the front wheel drive, you know, most people when they do staggered, they typically do that with rear wheel drive cars. So how does that feel being, you know, a front wheel drive car?
It's the same principle. So you want, you know, where the traction is, you want more grip.
Nice, nice. That's really cool. So, you know, diving more into what you want to do in the future with the car, kind of your plans. So you already have a very beautiful build on the car. You know, the wheels, the power, everything's amazing. It's a really nice street setup and even track setup if you wanted to. But what are your plans or intentions with the car in the future?
So intentions with the car is pretty much to build a drag car, take it to the drag strip. I have a different setup of wheels with meteor tires in the front with the VMS drag pack for it. And the goal is to, you know, stay relative and stay competitive with the other Type Rs that are on the drag.
Nice, nice. So it's really cool how, you know, you're gonna build it into a drag car essentially, but really with just a swap of tires and maybe like some suspension tuning, you know, just minor things here and there, you can really go from an ultimate track car, you know, on like a road course to a drag strip car, which is super cool. Now, what really drew you to the Civic Type R and made you want to get one?
So I've always been a Honda guy. Ever since the first Fast and the Furious, the original, the only Fast and the Furious movie. The Civics from the movie, you know, the black Civics going under the semis and having spoon engines and all that cool stuff. So I was in high school back then when that movie came out, and I decided that was my car.
Nice,
And
nice.
I own a Civic hatch EG at the time, and first time we get the Type R in the States, so I took the opportunity to get my hands on one.
Honda, you know, it's cool because they've always been a very good tuning company. You know, even the older Honda Civics, everyone loves tuning them. They're probably one of the most modified cars, you know, out of all cars in the world. So it's really cool. And now, especially for us being in the US, we've got now the Type R, because, you know, previously we've always had an SI, but we would never get the Type R. Yeah. That's more so reserved for, you know, like European, Japanese, you know, just pretty much everyone except for us here in the US. So it's really interesting and cool that we get now the Type R, and it's just a really beautiful car. And Will, you've done an amazing job building this car. But other than that, let's go and take the car for a drive and see how it feels. So setting off in the Type R, and right off the bat, you can just feel how well built this car is. You know, being a Honda, it's a really quality car, and especially with it being the Type R, it's a top of the line Honda Civic that you can get, and it's just such a nice car. You know, with the interior, I really love what Honda did with like the red in here. So we have this Alcantara steering wheel with like red Alcantara on it, and then we also have trim all along the interior with red. It just looks really good, and I love the way the red flows with the blue on the car. So you have like the red Brembos, you have the red interior, the red on the steering wheel, and even just like the Alcantara, just feeling it is really high quality. You know, these Hondas are really stepping up their game, and you know, they've always been very well, you know, at building quality cars. But even with this Type R, I can just tell you right off the bat, this thing is very well built. And you know, from a driving perspective, I love the way this feels, because when you're driving it normally here, just, you know, straight, you know, cruising at a set speed, it drives normal. Here I can even let off the gas slightly, and I'm still cruising at my same speed. I'm not really losing speed, but you can't hear it. But then you give it just an ever so slightest bit of throttle, and now you can start to hear the exhaust some more. It's a really raw driving car, even if you're just driving it normally, which I love. You know, it doesn't have too many assists to it. It's just a really good feeling car. I love that. Should we do a little bit?
Let's do it. Just go for it.
Wow. This thing hooks and goes. Wow, that just is beautiful. So, right off the bat, you guys need to check out my Civic SI video and watch that review, but I'm going to do a lot of comparisons between the SI and this one. And I can tell you, best way I can describe it is when you're in the SI, you feel like it has power, but it just kind of, I mean, it goes, but it accelerates. It's not really like pushing you back. With this one, as I feel the boost building up, I actually feel like I'm being pushed back into my seat more and more. It just feels like it never ends. And then even with the Type R seats in this car, they're just amazing at hugging you in, because even when you corner it slightly, it just hooks you in, and it's a really nice seat. So it's just like the whole car is really adaptive. It's really comfortable when you're driving it, but once you want to just... Oh my goodness, this thing's beautiful. I want one of these things. So this is like my next dream car. When I classify a dream car, it just means a car I'm probably going to buy within the future. Maybe not, but it's like definitely like my goal for the car I would love to buy one day. And this thing, I just love Civics because at the end of the day, it's still a Honda Civic. It's going to give you everything that a Honda Civic does, but because it's a Type R, it feels nothing like a regular Civic when you're getting onto it. It's just a beautiful chassis, and you know, so Honda, what they did with the Type R is they really redesigned the front suspension on this car, so you know, the geometry, the control arms, everything's actually different on this car than it is on the SI, which makes it feel a lot more planted when you're driving it. So let's go ahead and do a second gear pull and see how it feels. This thing feels so good. Ew, it's fast, but I feel confident. It's a very confident-inducing car because it just hooks and goes, and it does not feel anything like front-wheel drive. And the sound, like your exhaust setup. Turbo, and you feel the turbo building, not like it's lagging and then boom, you have it. No, it's like you always have it, it's just you build more as you get into the RPM range some more. So it's no secret, the Type R has a lot of aero on it that just looks beautiful in my opinion. I think it definitely makes the car look a lot more aggressive, a lot better. But you might be intimidated because, for example, it has a huge wing on the car. And before I actually sat in this car, I was actually expecting that that wing would sit right in the middle of like the rear window and it would actually get in the way. But if you look back, you actually don't see the wing at all. Like you can somewhat see like the edge of it, but it's actually sitting higher than the top of the rear window. So I'm able to see out the back as if there's no spoiler, which is really nice. And then obviously the car's a little bit wider. It's got the wider front fenders, the wider rear fenders. It's just things that you get with the Type R that you don't get with other Civic models that really sets it apart. And it is a wider car, you know, obviously if it's gonna have that wide body on the car, which, you know, adds roughly like what, 1 to 2 inches, you would say?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and it's minimal, but it's enough that it really stands out and makes the car just look even cooler. And you know, with this being my dream car, I love it, and I want one so bad now. But maybe in the future we'll see it on the channel. Type R of my own.
So versatile that if I don't need to be on it, I'll just drive normally and it's like any other Honda Civic.
Exactly. And you know, when we say it's just any other Honda Civic, you know, the way it feels, that's not a bad thing. That is all good thing.
No, it's just, you know, the reliability of Honda Civics are known for.
It's beautiful because you have a Honda reliability, Honda quality, which is amazing. You know, I guess, you know, we're not going to say it's like a luxury car, but everything fits well. There's no rattles. It's a very well put together car. And then when you want to get on it, you just this car would be so fun in the mountains. I can already imagine, like, just feeling with boost kicking in and just the way it corners. It's such a tight car, and you know, it's all adaptive, correct? Like with the steering, the suspension, is all that adjustable? Like, would you put it like eco and sport mode?
Yeah, I mean, so you have your comfort mode, which is for your day-to-day, if you don't want to be, you know, racing all the time. You put it on comfort mode, and it soften the dampers on the suspension and loosen up the steering wheel. And then from there you go to sport or R+ mode, and that's where, you know, the fun happens.
Nice, yeah, it's cool. Comfort probably feels, you know, just like a regular car, and then when you put into Sport Plus, it's or the R+, it feels amazing. And I like your little ejecto seat sticker. Right? That's so funny.
Yeah, there was nothing here, so I saw this on the internet, and I'm like, oh, definitely gotta have it.
So let's go try a first gear pull and see how the car feels. note everything I love about this car. Well-sounding car, well-built car. You truly have done an amazing job building this car.
Thank you.
I love it, dude. OEM plus, but when you give it gas, it's definitely not stock, and that's what I love about it. It's a super fun car, and it was a blast to drive it, but if you enjoyed the video and want to see many more just like it, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.